I've never done a Platinum Trophy challenge before, so I wanted to see how many Platinum Trophies I could earn in just 24 hours, and I was not expecting it to be as tough as it was. I set myself a few rules. No shovelware Platinums, no Platinums that could be completed in an hour or less, all games had to be new to me, and once I earned a trophy, I had to complete the Platinum Trophy before moving on to the next. I also set myself a challenge to try and earn 10 Platinum Trophies at minimum, which when you think about it, that's a Platinum Trophy every 2.4 hours. I maybe screwed myself here, but I was determined and said to myself, if I fail, I will let my community choose my forfeit. So how many do you think I can earn? Will I fail? Make your predictions in the comments below. No cheating. And make sure you hit the like button if you want to see me do more challenges. Please also subscribe if you haven't already. We're very close to 2,500 subscribers, a quarter of the way to 10,000. And thank you to my channel members for the extra support. You're beautiful people. But without further ado, let's begin. So it's currently nearly 2 AM on February the 13th. I slept for a few hours and have my Frosty Fox energy drink from Holy. I'm feeling good and have made a list of games I think should be okay. So to start with, I'm playing No Longer Home, a narrative driven adventure game that explores themes of uncertainty, identity and change. We follow the lives of Bo and Ao, two non-binary university students facing post-graduation struggles as they prepare to leave their shared flat. The game blends surreal elements with everyday life, creating a reflective and emotional experience. I've had this on my to play list for quite a while, but I will say that it's not quite as good as I was hoping. The story is very short though, with only 2 trophies left after completing the game, to choose 2 different options in the game within the game. But this is where I found my first issue of the challenge. For some reason at the start of the game there was a bug not allowing me to progress through a door. I'm not sure why this was happening, and multiple resets with not being able to skip the dialogue drove me insane. With my opinion on the game already quite low, this ruined the game completely for me, but eventually we could pick up our last 2 trophies, and with that, the Platinum. Next up I played a game called Rainswept, a story-driven murder mystery adventure with emotional depth. You take on the role of Detective Michael Stone, investigating a tragic double murder in the small town of Pineview. You uncover secrets and trauma, and are forced to confront Michael's troubled past. The game features a compelling story, atmospheric music and hand-drawn visuals. And this was a great game. The mystery is compelling, the gameplay, although very basic, wasn't too annoying. And I was really keen to see where the story would go, as the double murder mystery seemed very cut and dry about what happened. The Platinum journey was easy and simple, but let down by the fact that the Platinum pops before the story even concludes. I was really keen to find out how it ends, but had to put it behind me with the time constraints. But if you're looking at this and thinking it looks cool, I highly recommend this Platinum, and probably you should finish the story too. Third, we went to a game I've seen featured by a few YouTubers and challenges, Lara Croft GO. It's got kind of a bad reputation, but I wanted to experience it myself, with the Platinum appearing to be relatively short. If you've never heard of Lara Croft GO, it's a turn-based puzzle adventure inspired by the classic Tomb Raider franchise. You guide Lara through ancient ruins, solving environmental puzzles, avoiding deadly traps, and battling mythical creatures. With a minimalistic art style and strategic gameplay, it offers a fresh take on the iconic character's adventures. The puzzles, after a while, become a little too much, so I turned to a guide. Especially there was a lot of collectibles pretty well hidden throughout the levels. But the game wasn't too bad, it kept my mind busy, and felt quite satisfying when you complete a level. An okay Platinum, and number 3 on our journey. I had a few horror games shortlisted and felt it was best to get one out of the way. And despite this game having the craziest thumbnail and looking like I may have been scammed, this was actually pretty decent. Silver Chains is a first-person psychological horror game set in an eerie Victorian mansion. I control Peter, a man who wakes up in the abandoned estate with no memory how he got there. As you explore, you uncover dark secrets about the house's past, while being stalked by terrifying supernatural entities. The game focuses on atmospheric storytelling and puzzle solving. There are a few things that make the Platinum annoying, especially under a time constraint. Collectibles are missable, there are some miscellaneous trophies that require attention throughout, and you have to complete the game without being caught by the mother. Despite all this, I enjoyed the game and the platinum, without too much issue with the trophies. But that sees us complete game number 4, with me feeling good and confident about the rest of the journey. Game number 5 is a game I saw and thought I'd never play something like this, but it's a short platinum and I wanted to keep the games I played relatively mixed. So let me introduce you to Lumini, a relaxing exploration and puzzle game where you control a swarm of glowing creatures called Lumini. Tasked with restoring balance to their world, you must navigate through beautiful environments, avoid dangers, and evolve the swarm to overcome challenges. The game emphasises soothing music, fluid movement, and a calming atmosphere. I'm really glad I gave this a chance. I had a guide up just to keep an eye on some missable trophies, but the experience was pretty organic. Move to the right until you complete the game. Nothing too tricky and super relaxing, perfect after playing a horror game. After completing the game, you just have to load up a newly earned hard difficulty, and the platinum was done. Halfway there at just over the halfway mark. Next up is another horror game, one I've had on my list again for quite a long time, but it's very different to Silver Chains. The Long Reach is a psychological thriller adventure with pixel art aesthetics. Set in a small American town, the story follows a scientist caught in a horrific experiment gone wrong, leading to disturbing hallucinations and paranoia. The game features a dark narrative, mind-bending twists, and classic adventure-style puzzles with horror elements. With a guide, this one isn't too difficult. The only issue was the amount of doors involved on the levels, with it being hard to understand where to go next. The story is a bit bonkers, and if I'm honest, I'm not sure I understand everything that happened. But it was fun for me, and I'm glad that I gave it a go. And with that, that's platinum number 6 in the books. This is a game that I was hoping not to play, especially because you guys hate the point and click adventures. But time was looming, and I felt with a guide I could smash this out pretty quickly. But Darkestville Castle is a humorous point and click adventure inspired by classic LucasArts games. You control Sid, a mischievous demon living in Darkestville, whose peaceful evil doing is interrupted by demon hunters. With quirky dialogue, charming hand-drawn visuals, and absurd humour, it was a pretty fun experience. I did try smashing through the dialogue as quick as possible, but the story was still pretty interesting, if not amazing. I didn't run into anything too bad following a guide, but as I was coming up to the latter hours, I started to feel my mind wander a bit. But I got the platinum done, in a pretty good time too, and was keen to push on to the final couple of platinums. This is where everything started to go wrong. I was getting tired, I didn't think I could cope with religiously reading another text guide, so I decided to go with a game called Wukong, a game recommended to me by my buddy Bombchop a few months back. Wukong is a vibrant and fast-paced 3D platformer inspired by classic titles like Crash Bandicoot and Ratchet & Clank. You control Sun Wukong, the legendary Monkey King, as he embarks on a high-energy adventure through colourful worlds filled with enemies, obstacles and hidden secrets. Using his magical staff, Wukong can attack foes, spin through obstacles and perform acrobatic platforming moves. I don't know why, but I struggle with this. I assume it's because of the tiredness that was getting to me, but what should have been an easy experience turned into frustration. The levels were quite simplistic, but I would constantly miss collectibles, and then 2 trophies become my undoing, where you had to hit all the boxes and take no damage on a certain level. For some reason I just kept messing these up. I got the boxes, and after a few more attempts I finally got the no damage. This platinum took me longer than it really should have, but with time running out and tiredness kicking in, I was starting to think that I was going to be short of my goals. But that doesn't mean I wasn't going to give in just yet. So after a little deliberation, I felt the games I initially had planned were going to be too long to complete in time. So I took a risk on a game which I felt was too short initially, but if I could find a guide online and follow what I had to do, I felt this would be the perfect penultimate platinum before my final push. That game was Duke Nukem 3D, a remastered version of the classic Duke Nukem 3D, featuring enhanced graphics, new levels, and updated voiceovers from the original Duke himself. You once again step into the shoes of Duke Nukem, battling alien invaders and spouting one-liners while exploring destructive environments. This edition includes an all-new 5th episode with fresh content from the original developers. You can enable cheats, click through walls and basically skip most of the game, but I could not find anywhere online that walked you through all this. So I tried myself, but the lack of sleep, being sat on my desk for nearly 21 hours was just finally too much. I wish I had picked another very simple point and click that I could just follow a guide for. Ultimately I was stuck with no way to work out what I had to do, and I sadly realised I just didn't have the time to complete the challenge. That really sucked. I really thought I could do it, but with the rules I had in place, when I consulted other players, they said to pause the time and resume after some sleep, but I was determined it would be a 24-hour period. But thinking back now, I believe I did really well. 8 platinums in 24 hours is a platinum on average every 3 hours. I got to play some games I enjoyed, and some I didn't. This is the stats of every game I played and how long it took me for the platinum. I'm really keen to hear if any of you have thought about trying this or have done it yourself. Thank you all for the amazing support on the channel and hope you had fun watching the video. But as I said at the start, I would let my community choose my forfeit, so let's see what they chose. Well,